Thank you for joining us. We're grateful. Make sure that you get interactive. TV3 Ghana is always available. So we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And let us know what you think by way of the comments that you have to send. Always make sure that you add the hashtag. We're also encouraging you. We're cashing out. We've increased the rates in the mornings from 500 Ghana cedis to be credited into your Momo account to 1,000. So it is just an easy win. You have to do that through the short code *439#. *439#. And I can bet you will be the happier of everyone else around you. So as many times as you can cash out, we will encourage you to do that. So at the end of the segment, we'll make sure that we do the draws. We're grateful that you've been able to join us. Let me just, for all the things that we have to do as part of the routine that I have, just make some acknowledgement for many of you who are joining us this morning. We're grateful. And already, okay. Alabila Adelwin Barnabas, good morning to you. I know that already watching me. Evans Ibn Samba. Money, good morning to you. Adams, Rashid Dangobe, Chris Osaya Jemai, and Abbas. Thank you for joining as well. We're grateful. Hey, Sherry Giovanni. Now, let's look at this. Dewa Chop Money is also here. So you make sure that the Dewa 539 Chop Money becomes your thing each time of the day. So you collect your money every morning at 10 a.m. by simply dialing *446#. You select option 2 to play Dewa 539. You also win 20 times your stake with Direct 1, 40 times your stake with Direct 2. You win 400 times your stake with Direct 3. So we encourage you, you have to pick between the ranges of the numbers 1 to 39. It becomes an easy win for you. So you don't have to wait any longer. So just keep dialing that short code *446#. And then if you want to get better clarification or get more details, you can visit the site www.dewa-nla.com to play Dewa 539. Well, for inquiries and customer care, just in case maybe you had some complaints and you want to reach out to Dewa 539, it is through the number 05526 or 05562, I beg your pardon, 05562 59249 or 0532479 Shaibu Mohammed, good morning. Lucky Osei, good morning to you as well. Inshiraba and Hansen. Well, yesterday, many of you were telling me, I was watching the stream yesterday, and many of you were saying I don't mention your name, so I'll try and make sure that I do that this morning. So we have a couple. Alex Apple, good morning to you. Olivia Dan, Nana Puku, and Alex Apple, I wish you all the best for the day. Emmanuel Afote and Emilia Jasons, Ras Kotoka. Now, my guest for the morning is Edem Agbana, the parliamentary candidate for Ketu North. How are you?
Roland, I'm fine. How are you too?
I'm well. I see that you have a football team in your constituency. How's it shaping up?
Yes, well, let me say good morning to you and to our cherished viewers, especially to the good people of Ketu North. Last week was a very hectic week for us. We started by sharing mathematical sets to all the BEC candidates.
You also did that?
In my constituency, yes. And I went around inspiring them. Also, on Friday and Saturday, we had the privilege of receiving former Black Star players, Emmanuel Ajiman Bedu and Lai Kingston, who helped us in scouting.
They were in your constituency?
Yeah, they were in my constituency. That's for 2 days. And we scouted some quality players. As I speak to you this morning, some of the players they discovered over the weekend are here in Accra to have trials with some teams here in Accra. So it was a very good opportunity for us to showcase our talent. And it's also an opportunity for us to officially start the Nukunu Sports Academy, a club that I co-own with some others in the constituency. It's basically going to be a conveyor belt for talents from the constituency to higher heights. So, Roland, I am very hopeful that not in the not too distant future, you would have players from Ketu North playing for the Black Stars and the Arsenals and Manchester United and all of that. So I'm very happy about that project.
Well, I'm talking about football. Perhaps maybe you can speak to Robert Coleman.
Let me say,
let me show you the chief executive for the Wembley Sports Construction Company Limited. He's the king of AstroTurf. One constituency, one AstroTurf. He was inaugurating a number of the AstroTurfs in the communities, and I want to show you a couple of them. Oliver, if we have them, just put them there. Let me just acknowledge Robert Coleman before Adam Agbana, who is having his team, also comes in. And as you do that, please, we're grateful that you've joined us. So, so Robert Coleman, good morning to you, and thank you for doing some great work. Johnny Hughes says I should ask you whether you're going to have a new baby soon. I didn't say Johnny Hughes. Money, new money. Akasokre Joseph, thank you for joining us. Newton King Chereke, good morning. Jafaru is a great guy. Yeah, and these AstroTurfs are approved by FIFA. They are FIFA standardized AstroTurf. Robert Coleman, thank you very much for doing that. There's one with Baumia. Please show him as well.
And so there's one with President Mahama too.
Yes.
In Queen's constituency.
Okay. I don't have President Mahama. So
Roland, quickly on Coleman. I think that he's a great guy, doing a lot. I have had extensive conversations with him.
Robert Coleman.
Yes, and I can say that Lai Kingston coming to my constituency, he played a role in it. I'm very hopeful that in my first term as Member of Parliament for Ketu North, we'll have our first AstroTurf. I've had extensive conversation with Coleman on it. Very soon he will be in Ketu North to inspect.
But you haven't won the election yet.
Yeah, but work has started. Winning the elections for me is a formality. Everyone knows that come 2024, the NDC will retain the Ketu North seat. What we are fighting for is the margin of victory. And our target is to get nothing less than 85% of the vote. So Coleman will be in Ketu North for us to see some possible places where we can locate an AstroTurf for the good people of Ketu North.
All right. So I guess that also puts matters into perspective for us. And Robert Coleman, good morning. Doing some great work. Great work. Okay. I also have in the studio Nana Kwame Asafo-Adjei. And he is Deputy Director for External Affairs of the NPP, as well as communicating for the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
All right. I saw the president warning his friends who want to be flag bearers to make sure they don't badmouth government. But I thought you're speaking what is truthful.
Which is?
Okay. All right. Since you don't want to comment on the subject, no problem.
No, I must.
Now, the former president, John Dramani Mahama, has been raising some key issues. So, for the first part, we'll look at whether government has deliberately decided to do politics in making the decision whether to continue with the Saglame project, but rather spend money on the National Cathedral project, which has even not taken off. As we know, it is the most expensive hole, we're told, in the world. I mean, literally, as it is. The second part will also take us to West Africa, where not only the Nigerian coup, but also the takeover in Burkina Faso, the instability in the sub-region, seem to be raising concerns among civil society, but also ordinary citizens. Well, as politicians as well as media, should we be worried about this? And what is accounting for this sort of worry? So we'll look at it in the second part of the show. My producer is telling me today we're going to open phone lines before we cash out. So let's look at the former president, John Dramani Mahama, on his page and what he did say. Now he says, it is unacceptable for the president to spend over 500 million cedis on a national cathedral project that has ultimately failed due to corruption and is now abandoned, yet refuses to commit funds to complete a housing project that will benefit thousands of Ghanaian families. He continues that knowing the NPP government, they did not want to complete the Saglemi housing project simply because it was initiated by John Mahama and an NDC administration. Now, leaders must always prioritize the well-being of their citizens and ensure that they benefit from government resources and projects regardless of who initiated them. Now, he says the misplaced priorities of a government that claims it is unable to raise money to complete the Saglemi project and yet is willing to spend $500 million cedis on the largest civil excavation in Africa is a humiliating slap in the face of Ghanaians who entrusted Nana Akufo-Addo with their mandate to be president. And then he continues. Now, Safweje, what do you make of this?
Good morning.
Morning.
And good morning to my good brother and friend. Like, I wished him well in his primaries. I knew in his primaries he would win. But in the main elections, K2 is up for take this time. So, it is good he's doing what he's doing. But of course, the tables will turn this time around. Now, let me greet the good people of Bosomi Frehun too, the MPP party, and then your followers. I heard about the Saglemi John Mahama post yesterday. I was on my way coming from Monsieur Jamai to help Honorable Pius and Hajide. We are more or less like brothers and friends. So I was wondering if indeed former President John Dramani Mahama actually wrote what you read. I was wondering. Because then it took me back to ask some few questions. Question number one, that in 2012, when President John Dramani Mahama was the caretaker president, this Saglemi project started. That was when the NDC made it their priority program or project and took a loan of $200 million. 2013, he won and became the full president who was fully in charge. The 200 million loan was supposed to do a housing unit of 5,000 for us. After they got the loan, and of course, when you are going to get a loan, going to the contractor and everything, you do all your visibility, you do the drawing, there is a whole lot of documentation to that effect. And you took that money based on that project.
And approved by Parliament.
Approved by Parliament. Now, 5,000 project now draw down to almost 1,500 project. And a whopping 198 million of the 200 million has been used. Now, the next question you ask is that a priority project for you, you spent 5 good years in government. You couldn't complete a single one. And after a certain time, you come to blame a government that do not even have it as a priority. So the question is that, but are you sure this man wrote what he wrote? And does he still have this memory? That's first. The next point. You see, government do not necessarily invest into project or undertake project or anything just for taking sake. Government invest into project for a viable and beneficial reason and purpose. So, Akufo-Addo or the MPP comes to power. They review the Saglemi project. You took 200 million. You were supposed to do 500,000 units. You couldn't even do 1,005.
Okay.
Now, there are a whole lot of challenges with the project. They do.
The name is Saglemi.
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 Okay, forgive me. I'm told is a Dangbe word.
Yes.
So Saglemi. Now you took this money, you had this project, you couldn't do anything. Now government have to review the project. I'm told there was no sewage, I'm told there was no road.
Have you been there?
No, I've not been there.
Okay.
I haven't been there. I've seen the videos, I've seen the
So you're
reports.
speaking on second-hand information?
Oh, you give me that information.
Oh, I'm asking. Are you speaking? Are you speaking from second-hand information?
Okay, we'll take it as a primary source data.
All right.
Okay, so you have a whole lot of some of these amenities that were not factored as part of the project. Meanwhile, the loan, it wasn't a free money. It's a loan which government has contracted to do this affordable, quote and unquote, affordable housing. Now, the report, a few reports I have cited, is even saying that we'll spend extra 56 billion just to even complete off-site, just to even do that. Now, when you look at
46 million.
46 million. Now, when you look at
64 for.
Thank you. When you look at all these things put together, the money spent, how much is the ordinary Ghanaian going to pay for the cost of a unit of room to even stay? Then the purpose of the affordability.
Is that why the president is unwilling to
hold on.
complete
So the
it?
purpose of the affordability.
Is that why the president is unwilling to complete it?
Muhammad, the person who even brought the baby, the man who even birthed the project, was not even willing to complete it. John Dramani Mahama, who birthed the project, was not even willing to complete it.
Asafoje, I'm told that you are very well versed in construction because
I am not.
Because domestically you have undertaken some of your own. If you look at these projects,
yes,
how long or less do you think that it will take to complete these projects?
Let me tell you something.
Other than going to start another one, or prioritizing a national cathedral which has even not gotten off the ground, spent over 400 million and still nothing.
I'll come to the national cathedral. It is another leg of the discussion. But you see, when you mistaken and take a project like this and you think it is completed, you are making a mistake. Look, the chunk or the difficult part of construction, it's not laying the blocks. It's not laying the blocks and bringing out the structures. No. It is the finishing and the fittings. That is the most important thing and most expensive thing in the whole building construction. As for block laying, I mean, one block is about 50 cedis, 5 cedis or something. So
in construction, if you leave a project over time, then it means that for you to again rehabilitate that project and get it to get off the ground, you are going to spend more if you look at the quantities.
I don't know whether you are listening.
And that is true.
I don't know whether you are listening to the argument. I am telling you that.
So what really is your point? Why is it the government doesn't want to complete the project?
I am asking you, I'm telling you that a project that was birthed 2012 by the NDC, John Dramani Mahama himself, he spent 5 years, couldn't do it. Now comes back, blames somebody who don't even have that project as a priority project. You had it as a priority project. You flagged, you made every noise you had to make about that project. You don't even have it. Now you create a mess, quote and unquote, for somebody to inherit your mess, and now you turn back to blame the person for inheriting or trying to clean your mess. I mean, that is why I asked if indeed he wrote what he wrote. Now, the National Cathedral. You see, for me, from day one, the NDC have poo-pooed the idea of the National Cathedral. So I am not surprised about John Dramani Mahama. But you see, before we even move to the National Cathedral, you see, the money we are talking about, the 198 million, is not a joke. So government himself has taken this matter up and it's in the court. We cannot just be in a rush to go and charge somebody or jail somebody when you cannot establish the real fact of the matter.
You're talking in relation to the Saglema project.
Yes, the Saglema project.
What has an action against a former government official, for which that action was said to be untoward, was said to be untoward, not in the interest of the public good, got to do with a housing project that is left to rot?
Hold on, you see.
How do you sync the two?
The housing project.
You have a housing project on one hand.
No, you see.
A former government official is being accused not to have taken the rights out of decision while in office. But the project is being left to rot.
You see, you are not getting it. What do we use to do the project? It is the money we are charging the former government official for. The project, if the project could have been done, it would have been done during their time. It is the money involved. You take 200 million to construct a project of 5,000 units.
So let me get this. Are you saying that government is making a comprehensive decision not to continue with the completion of the project because the matter is in court?
No.
Or because of the amount that will be needed to complete the project? Which one?
See, government is looking at the purpose and the viability of the project and taking some critical and key decisions. That is one of the reasons why some investors or some private investors are coming on board.
What you see on the television is not viable.
It's not what?
It's not viable.
So who wants to stay there? The person who is putting this.
Go and complete it.
You want to stay there?
Go and complete it.
No, you see, the argument is that when I complete it and I ask you to pay $70,000 or $90,000 for that project,
do you think you are being fair to the good people of Ghana?
Which people? So that question should have been asked to John Dramani Mahama. You put a housing project that at the end of the day, when we put cost to at the housing project, every Ghanaian or the ordinary Ghanaian is going to pay $70,000 or $90,000, and you call it affordable, and you think you are being good to the Ghanaian people. That question should go to former President John Dramani Mahama. He should be made to answer some of these questions. And you see, as usual, they don't respect the court. That is why this matter is in court. And you come to write.
Who doesn't respect the court?
John Dramani Mahama.
Why doesn't he respect the court?
What
has the project got to do with prosecuting a former officer?
I am asking you, why is the former officer in court? Is it not because of the project? We are looking for money to complete the project, or the project came in, it was approved by Parliament. A certain project, a certain agreement was approved by Parliament. You individual do not have any, authority or whatsoever. And I do not, sincerely, when I'm sitting here, I may not have evidence, but I do not believe that it was a decision by the sole minister. No, the president then, John Dramani Mahama, must be aware. He knows it. The minister cannot, change a whooping project of this amount on his own volition. Somebody somewhere, higher authority, might have given him some go ahead.
I see.
So for me, I do not see how and why you cause this mess for Ghanaians. You come back to blame Ghanaians or ask questions about this same program you caused. Look, he's talking about the National Cathedral digging a pit, or spending that money or hooping money to dig a pit.
Remember, it was a personal promise by the president.
Oh, hold on. I don't have a problem. That whether it's a personal, I don't have a problem. But the point is that let us also understand that National Cathedral has an economic, output to it own. The managers of that board has been bold enough. And when you are constructing an edifice of such nature, you do not do a 2x4 foundation. I don't know if Adam has done something like that for himself before, constructing a 2-story building and building a 5-inch foundation. I don't know. Maybe if you have a technical, so just some of these things, a former president of such nature should not lower the standard and be making some of these pedestrian statements. For me,
you call the comments pedestrian.
Please. I will.
No problem. No problem. I'll come.
If you tell us that the president spent that money in digging a pit, is it not pedestrian?
Or 400 million.
No. Is it not pedestrian?
Right.
You know what goes
Roland,
have you been to the site before?
I have been.
Okay, good.
It's of public interest and of public knowledge.
Yes, Roland.
Now, you take a look at that.
Yes.
And then the concern and the comparison that has been made to the National Cathedral project by way of the priority of government to complete it. I mean, it just doesn't sink, doesn't it? Because we have a housing project that people could easily, after completion, go and occupy after purchase.
Roland, I want to commend His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for his comment on the National Cathedral vis-a-vis the Saglemi Housing Project issues. Roland, my constituency is Ketu North. And so almost every week, in fact, even just yesterday, I drove past the Saglemi project. And anytime I get close to Saglemi and I see the beautiful, very elegant edifice sitting and being wasted, my heart bleeds, because what is sitting there is taxpayers' money. Yes, it was a loan of $200 million taken by the NDC government to initiate the project, but eventually it will be paid by the good people of Ghana, you and I, our taxes. And so what is sitting there as an investment is the sweat of the ordinary Ghanaian. Now, in 2012, October 13th, when Parliament gave approval to the government of President Mahama to initiate this housing project was because at the time, President Mahama, as a visionary leader, decided to go heavy on state housing, affordable housing, to reduce the housing deficit. As we speak, we have a housing deficit of over 2 million, which is highly, highly unacceptable. And so it is important to encourage projects like this. Now, when the project eventually started by the cutting of sod in November 2013, and what we have today, we have seen how the NDC government worked very, very hard on the project until we left power in 2016. Then, due to the pettiness, pure pettiness of the president, lack of vision, I have never seen a president so petty like President Akufo-Addo. Pure pettiness, that a project that was almost completed, what was left, and I will give you evidence from their own statement, what was left was just for the site to be connected to utilities. And at the time the NDC left office, we had about $20 million from that loan still sitting at the BOG belonging to the project.
We are told,
and, yeah, we are told. Now, when the NPP came into office, just because President Akufo-Addo is so petty, that because he did not want to complete the project for President Mahama to take the credit, he abandoned the project. Then the Works and Housing Minister, Asenso Boakye, Honorable, in 2021 told us that the ministry tasked surveyors, the Ghana Institute of Surveyors, to do a complete evaluation of the project.
You don't have anything for them.
No, but all these things that I'm saying can be backed. These are statements he made, some on the floor of Parliament.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
After they completed their assessment, Asenso Boakye announced that $32 million was needed to complete the project. $32 million. I want us to take note of the figures that I will be mentioning. In 2021, $32 million. Then later they came out with the whole story that from the defense minister, they claimed that they wanted to hand over the project to the military. If you recall, he even mentioned this in Parliament, that they will hand over the project to the military, so it becomes a housing unit for the military. I'm recalling this because I just want to lead to where we have gotten to. From 32 million, then the inconsistency, they moved to handing over the project to the military. Now here we are today. President Akufo-Addo is telling all of us that he wants to hand over the project to the private sector because we need $114 million.
In excess, yes.
In excess of $114 million. Now, who did the evaluation at the time? It was $32 million. How come all of a sudden $32 million that was needed to complete this project has now become $114 million? Has the president told you and I who did the evaluation? Because as for Asenso Boakye, he cited the Ghana Institute of Surveyors as the institution that did the evaluation and assessment to say that they needed $32 million. Because President Akufo-Addo wants to hand over the project to the private sector, he has all of a sudden, they are quoting $114 million. What? So to create the impression
but you know the Western Housing Minister, despite all the things that you say that because of the assessment that has been done and the excess of $100 million that will be needed to complete the project. It means
my big question is, Roland,
that will be additional
Roland,
funding.
my big question is, in 2021, the same minister told us that we needed only $32 million to complete the project. All of a sudden, from 2021 to 2023, 32 million has become 114. But let's accept or admit without admitting that we needed indeed $114 million to complete the project. Let's just grant it that way. Now, I have a number of questions to ask. First, when President Akufo-Addo, anytime President Akufo-Addo mentions privatization, we know what he means. Privatization to him is an avenue to loot and give out state properties to cronies. We haven't forgotten about ECG and the PDS scandal.
How did you come to that? Because of
PDS. You know what happened with PDS and how much money Ghana lost till today. Has anyone been prosecuted for the millions of dollars. Now, this criminal enterprise of NPP, anytime they mention privatization, that is what they mean. You abandoned this project when you needed only $32 million, and you went putting $58 million into that wasteful project that you call a national cathedral that became an avenue for thieves in Kasok with double identities to be allocating projects and contracts to themselves. As we speak today, that project has collapsed. It is the biggest excavation exercise done. A hole has been dug. Judges' bungalows were demolished.
According to
companies were collapsed. You see,
the project
when I talk about, I'm a Christian. Let me tell you something. I'm a devout Christian. I always contribute to the building of churches or church buildings and all of that. I wouldn't mind. Let me tell you, when you go to POWI, Power of Worship International, is one of the churches that I attend. Not too long ago, I picked up a form ready to donate to the completion of their cathedral because I believe in that cause. But what President Akufo-Addo attempted doing in the name of National Cathedral is never for the cause of God. It was an avenue for them to lose because they wanted to use religion to cover up. Now, let me give you reasons why I think that it's a cover-up to steal. They told us that it was the personal promise from President Akufo-Addo. Was that not the case?
Well, that's the case.
They told us it was never going to be from state funding. Even pastors in this country, leading pastors, told us that it will come from contributions from Christians and people who are willing to see the completion. Was that not what they told us? All of a sudden, we saw the huge allocations from state coffers that they made to that project. Now, you have a project, and as we speak today, almost every member of the board, the National Cathedral Board, has resigned, including the Attorney General himself. Godfrey Dame resigned. Many of the pastors have resigned because thieves are the ones supervising that project. Some of them are in Kasok using double identity. And you sit here and you call President Mohammed's comment pedestrian. Excuse me. We have to be serious as a country. You have a petty president who, for the lack of vision and foresight, decided to abandon this project. Then we have come to a point where because you are leaving office, you are leaving power very soon, you've decided to privatize it, allocate it to your cronies, and you have inflated the amount of money that we know them. Anytime MPP mentions privatization, it is cronyism. It is about stealing and looting and sharing to their cronies. We know them. Okay. And I'm telling you, what has the president done about PDS?
There's an important issue about a former minister. A former minister who, of course, we know he's standing trial.
Okay, so great. I cannot go into the merits of what is before
court. So the justification is, if you look at the contract, 5,000 housing units were supposed to have been put up. By the time that the NDC had led office, we had only 1,500.
Roland, when you listen to the minister, like I said, I don't want to go in. That issue as to whether it was supposed to be 5,000 or it was supposed to be variation after it was supposed to be in an evolving fund where the 5,000 units will eventually come from sources that will be raised after the initial ones are sold and all of that. That is actually the substance of the issue in court. So I don't want to go into it. But what we are talking about is the lack of leadership, the pettiness of President Akufo-Addo, and the attempt to sell. And let me tell you something very, very interesting. Are you aware that in 2021 May, it came to light that the NPP government sent national security men or men supposed to be from the national security to provide security to the site. And by the time they left there, items, equipments, building materials worth $7 million were stolen from the site. 7 million in May 2021. Items worth $7 million were stolen from the site when they were supposed to be providing security. And so when I tell you that when these people are talking about privatization, they're only looking for an avenue to steal, you should know what I'm talking about. And that story has been captured by Ghana Web. The project consultant, one Mr. Kamesa Beza or something, if I get the name right, also spoke to this issue. When you go to the Chopoli police station, reports were made where citizen arrest was made of national security men or men supposed to be from the national security who came to the project site and stole over $7 million worth of items. And so when we speak about Saglemi,
well, we do know that security was provided as a result of that. Even some
what has happened to that case?
Some media persons were not allowed to film within that period.
So what happened to the $7 million worth of items and building materials that were stolen? So when it comes to the National Cathedral, let me conclude. The National Cathedral, look, I'm very disappointed as we speak. You have men of God.
Yeah, you've made your point.
And
You're
Christians.
a Christian.
Yes, and we have men of God and
Point
Christians who are refusing to speak about the fact that President Akufo-Addo used God to provide a certain shield for his people to steal for millions of dollars to be put into just a hole. What has happened to that project? And you tell us that it has an economic value. What economic value has that useless project got? Uselessness. Because I just can't understand why anyone at this material moment, looking at all the basic challenges that confront the good people of Ghana, will invest that amount of money into building a cathedral for God. Even God will not be pleased with you because God doesn't love wicked leaders.
Mr. Safweje, so what's the decision now? Will the project be completed or not?
Let me state this on record. Adam is my very good friend. I have no problem.
You guys are friends?
Yeah, we are friends.
We are very good friends.
I have no problem.
Just 2 minutes each, okay? Then we'll move on to...
My point is that...
Coups and
I saw your posture, your interjections, your comments, everything when I was speaking.
I interjected you.
And I saw what you did with Adam.
I interjected.
It is clear. The viewers are also watching you.
Okay.
Now, point number one. I don't know why he's fired up. I don't know. Because, of course, if it's not pedestrian, you won't tell me that project there is a pit they have just dug.
Please.
Thank you.
Please, you have 3 minutes.
It's okay.
Then we'll move on to the next.
If you tell me that President Akufo-Addo has abandoned the Sagleme project because of that, he lacks vision. I mean, he's petty. Then I don't know whether we can have a petty squared or a petty raised to the power 10 for John Dramani Mahama. Then he is the most pettiest of all. Kufuor started some housing projects in this country. The Pong Katamanso, the Pong Kachuma, something. I don't know the name. Forgive me.
The Botema.
The Kufuor project, the Sokorimampong project.
There's a Nyamidua project also at Pong.
It transcended Mills, Mahama caretaker, Mahama president. You didn't say anything about that.
We'll talk about it.
Don't worry. So that project made Mahama very, very useless. So Mahama is visionless because these projects are evidence enough for every Ghanaian to see. Even those projects did not have the rot Sagleme is having. Even those projects, it's not having the kind of rot Sagleme is having. Even that, you didn't touch it. You didn't move a pin. So, I mean, the comparison is clear for everybody to see. Now, my point this morning is that even if I am a government, I come to office. Before my coming to office, my predecessor had told the whole country that we have a deficit of housing, like Adam is talking about. So I want to solve that deficit and give you an opportunity to have a very affordable house. So I come to Parliament, present you a document of which I am going to take a loan of $200 million to construct 5,000 units so that every Ghanaian, and look at where the Sagleme is and Accra. Look at the distance. I'm not even talking about the distance, that far distance, almost to Adan. You took that money. Parliament approved that money for you. Now, when you got the approval, even before you go to Parliament with all the approvals and things, you had all your drawings, everything worked out. You took the money and now spent 198 million only to give us a half-completed 1,500 project of the 5,000. You told us. What is this wickedness, this thievery? Chrono Yagani, thievery that John Dramani Mahama perpetuated on the good people of Ghana.
So my question is...
No, you have a question. Hold on, let me finish.
What will be the decision on this?
The decision is clear.
You spoke about this the first time.
I'll come to the decision. Now, this person that has caused us so much death, the purpose of the affordable housing was not met. The money we cannot find. The housing we cannot go there. So it is a complete waste.
The housing is a complete waste.
No, the entire project you did for us.
The Saglen House.
The construction you brought to Parliament, for it to matter, we approved it. You wasted our time. And you spent 5 years in government. You couldn't finish a thing that money was given to you as of 2012. You couldn't. You spent 5 years. Nana Akufo-Addo comes.
It's not even true.
It's true. 2013 and 2012.
You don't know the timeline.
Oh,
but I gave you.
Hold on. The
parliamentary approval. Let me educate.
No.
I'm just educating.
The project was initial.
I don't need your. I don't need your.
It went to Parliament in 2012. MOU was signed in January 2013. Soft cutting was done in November 2013. I mean, so I'm just providing.
But it went to Parliament in 2012. That's what he's trying to say.
That's to seek approval. That's not a commencement of the project. No, I'm education. I'm giving you the timelines. You don't know it.
Mr. Safwe, let's get this right. Okay.
No.
You cannot.
You do 5 years of money.
Please answer my question, Mr. Safwe. My question is: so what is the decision now on what you call a useless project and then a not completed project?
I have told you that the president has even proposed about 3-tier solution that we are looking at which of them will be viable. Now, one of them which they have problem with is the privatization of the Saglemen project.
Okay.
They have problem with. And you see, I don't know why they become so uncomfortable. This is a pure documentation program which will come to the doorsteps of Parliament for you to go through and point at which of them you have problem with. But you see, if I am an ordinary Ghanaian and thinking about the well-being of Ghana, I would support the idea that when it goes to a private person, the private person can do all the things that have to be done, price it at a certain price, and then sell, which Ghanaians will not have a problem about. But if government decide to go into the affordable housing, go look extra money somewhere and put into the affordable housing. Now, even if it costs $90,000, government can't sell it at $90,000.
Have we found an investor yet?
I mean, that decision I don't have, but I know that they are working on it.
All right.
Government can't
so that's
do
the decision.
that. That's a decision.
Private sector.
It is in the good interest of Ghanaians. For which matter, I don't know. I don't know whether Adam knows who they are going to give this project to. I don't know. But you see, the end
so private sector.
John Dramani Mahama should excuse Ghanaians for some time. Right. And don't let us feel that we are dumb and we don't know.
Adam,
you create a mess, you cause a problem, and you come back to blame somebody for not solving your mess and your problem. Okay. Who does that?
So the discussion and then the contention is where the priority should be in terms of the expenditure.
You see the Pokwasi housing.
Yes.
Government, this project is coming at no cost to the ordinary Ghanaian. Government is providing water, is providing electricity, land.
At a cost.
No, you see, but it's not a loan. Like you contracted a loan today, it is part of our loan.
That's at a cost.
So that is extremely better. That is what when the government says affordable.
How much?
When the government says
affordable.
How much
are we paying for? 58 million.
When the government says affordable, that is what it means. Right. Not what you did in agreement. And coming back to blame Ghanaians, to blame the president for not solving your problem. When you had the opportunity to solve it.
Okay. How would you describe this decision to now go to that private venture route? In 2 minutes.
Like I said, Roland, trust is very, very key in governance. I have absolutely no confidence that the Akufo-Addo government will privatize the Saglemi project in the interest of the people of Ghana, because their track record is that any time they attempt anything privatization, it is an avenue for them to allocate to their cronies, to their family and friends.
Whether you know who will be allocated.
And no, we know them, and we know the kind of. And I'm saying that we know them, and we know the kind of things they have engaged in. I have cited PDS. I don't know why he doesn't want to even talk about it, because they know what they did with PDS and how family members of the president were the beneficiaries till today. All the monies that we lost, not a single person has been prosecuted and all of that. I don't know why till today, the $7 million worth of items, materials that were stolen from the site, that issued their mute on it, and yet Collins Dauda is in court for supposed causing financial loss to the state. I mean, that is what you are late. And you see, so I think that what the government is supposed to do, what the government is supposed to do,
they are going the private sector route.
And I'm saying that sector, that whatever option, that privatization or going to the private sector, it's simply in basic language, is an avenue for them to allocate the project to themselves. Now, they have enough money, Roland, they have enough money to complete the project as a government and allocate the project. We have given you where they can get the rest of the money from. One, they took $58 million, and sank it in that useless project of Akufo-Addo Cathedral. I don't even think that it deserves to be called a national cathedral. With all the criminality surrounding that project, they don't even want to speak about it. So today, with all the issues, with all the criminalities, no, but why? Hasn't it been brought to light how you allocated monies to yourselves on that project? How even the person who designed the project at the time he started the design and you awarded him the contract, he didn't have the license to operate? Hasn't it come to light how a supposed man of God using double identities allocated projects to himself? It became an avenue for thievery. No, but he's lost all the court cases. Please spare us that. And so this project is just an avenue for you. And you see, and for me, and then on the BO, and even from BOG, you see the amount of money that they printed, over 80 billion at BOG.
What do you mean by the printed money?
Oh, but they printed money. Didn't you read the BOG report? Whereas we speak today, the Bank of Ghana has a negative. No, the loss is different.
The loss that was reported.
Reporting loss is different. We talk about printing money, and when you look at the BOG Act, the government is allowed to print only about 5%, maximum 5% of the previous year's total revenue. But looking at the amount that they printed, 2021, they printed 35 billion. 2022, they printed 45 billion. A total of 80 billion. They printed that amount of money, which far exceeds the 5% threshold that the BOG Act allows them to. And so this whole government and how they operate, at best I can describe them as a criminal enterprise. And look, this Saglemi project, we should not, and I'll plead with Parliament, never to allow the NPP government to privatize that project, because it will just be an avenue for them to allocate the project to themselves. Now, let me ask you, you keep talking about projects started by Kufuor, not completed and all of that. Even in your own government, in 2018, didn't Bawumia cut short for 10,000 housing units? Where's the project?
2019. That was reported in 2019.
Yes, and so where's the project? 2019, 10,000 housing units. Started by yourself. You cut the sword yourselves. Where's the project? Asafo, I'm asking you the question. Answer me, where's the project? So you see, these are people who will sit on national TV and claim some high ground of morality, talking about somebody started project not complete. Even your own project that you cut short for, not a single block has been laid.
Now let's
and
move
yet
on
you
to
go about talking about people not completing projects.
Let's move on to the second issue. And it's about the subject of the coup in Niger. ECOWAS also saying they will have a meeting on Thursday to make that decision, because the decision was they want to move troops to Niger. We've had a lot of critics from civil society and also those in the security sector, but also citizens in the West African sub-region worried about the lack of security as well as the vulnerability of the borders of the various countries in the sub-region. Why are we having this sort of instability? Let's hear from a former executive director for WANEP, now works with the UN or consults for the UN, and Dr. Emmanuel Bombande is giving us some comments on the subject.
Happening that you are calling an inflection of a wound on itself is related to the lack of the political will for the type of reforms that would have updated these tools for deployment by ECOWAS. So we are using old tools to respond to unprecedented crises that we've never witnessed.
Now, Mr. Safweje, the route of ECOWAS, the position of ECOWAS, is that the best way that it should?
Quick one, I want to do something. I mean, a texter has just drawn my attention to a word I used. Maybe it wasn't intentional.
What word did you use?
Maybe it wasn't intentional. That is not what I sought to communicate, that Mahama is useless, no? I mean, if it was my father, I would be so proud. I was talking about the whole venture being useless. I would never. So if it didn't come out, yes, if it didn't come out as I expected it to come, that's not what I mean.
It's good to be magnanimous.
Now I have a quick up.
So you do agree that you've been unsavory? Please go ahead and answer my question. Go ahead. So the instability we have in the decision of ECOWAS to move into Niger, is that the right way? And then Thursday, that meeting.
I will do that. I have a good friend, Stephen Osei Echan, who is contesting for the UTAC president in Winneba, and the elections is tomorrow. I wish him well. He was my co-GRASAC president.
You can do that at the end of
No, look, there is this whole issue rising in Africa. And for me, I want to base my argument on a long-standing history of the French assimilation with the Francophonies in Africa. So if you notice, most of the coup d'etats, most of the wars, most of the things that are happening, are mostly not from the Francophones, largely. I mean, but the French-speaking countries, because of the policy of assimilation by French, a lot of these things are happening. Why? Because, you see, when you rule people, you impose decisions, you impose the right, you impose a lot of things on people for a long time, the people tend to rebel and they tend to want their freedom. And that is one of the major things that is happening. Now, there have been...
Say that again.
So when you impose your decision, you rule people, you suppress people for a long time, the people who want to rebel.
You mean the leadership of the countries, the presidents, etc.?
No, I'm drawing a line between the French colonies in Africa, the Francophonies, because of the policy of assimilation that they have been using. And most of them are trying very hard to break away from some of these yokes. And that is one of the reasons why a lot of these things are happening. And when you pick them up, and I was in Niger not long ago, and I routed through a lot of the places that some of these things are happening. So if you see all these areas, they are boundary border countries and along the Sahel area, largely to say because of, learning from each other and picking one or two lessons, because this one Niger, Mali did and it was successful. Burkina Faso did and it was successful. Now you move to Niger, so you see the route and the route is coming. Now there is a second leg of it, where you see the influence of US and Russia in some of this area. When you look at Niger, most of them were hoisting the flag of Russia. I don't know why they are doing that. But you see, you would see US having 2 military bases in Niger, trying to take over Niger, trying to influence Niger, trying to control Niger. Because look, Niger has a uranium deposit so huge in their country. And majority of the uranium deposits they have in their country are being traded by France and the Europe. If Russia is able to successfully assure these people of protection and security and better livelihood, it is obvious that these people will want to rather do business with Russia as against US or Europe or France. So it is a whole lot of complicated international politics and power play. And I think that ECOWAS is gradually not hitting and biting the way they're supposed to bite.
What do you think ECOWAS should have done?
You see, most often than not...
Is the accusation rather,
no, most
Mr. Safwaji, not that we've had the leadership of some of these West African countries. For example, in Niger, the decision was made to amend their laws to make sure that he goes for a third term. So it's not a matter, while there's the other side of the geopolitical conversation about Francophone, Anglophones, etc., and whether it's the US or Russia with their Wagner forces, or we're also talking about bases elsewhere. The decision lies with the West African leaders who seem to be poorly governing their countries. That's a basic matter. Is that not it?
From my background, I do not want to limit it to only West Africa, even though we're having some of these challenges in only West Africa. The African Union, the AU, and West Africa, ECOWAS flows from AU. It is one of the 8 regional blocks that AU recognizes. The ECOWAS, the COMESA, the IGAD, the SADC, and all of them. So you see, these people largely, they look at practices that are happening elsewhere that the leadership of Africa is not able to clamp on them. We have Cameroon, Paul Biya, been in government for more than 30 years. Chad, mention them. The Horn of Africa, the Central Africa, check them. And African Union has not been able to be hard on the decisions. When you confront them, they bring in the argument of sovereignty. I agree. They are sovereign people. So if the people goes to parliament and decide that we would extend the years to 3 years, I mean, AU has a little to do. But you see, until the leadership are able to put a certain benchmark, a certain decision, a certain regulation down, we are going to see most of some of these things.
So you're worried about the volatile situation.
And that is why ECOWAS is not able to hit the way we are expecting him to hit, because the mother body AU is not able to hit on some of these issues. When it happens, they go through the diplomatic route, and largely the diplomatic route do not end in where they are expecting to. It happened in Togo, it happened in Burkina Faso, it happened in Mali. All these things, what has ECOWAS been able to do? They've made some, I mean, every day they give some deadlines, they give some timelines, we are not able to meet them, and the coup perpetrators call their bluff. And for me, I have not seen anything seriously that has been done. We see military juntas and leaders now transforming to diplomatic leaders. So if I'm in my country, I can also do that. After 2 or 3 years, I could organize an election and come to power. And that is the problem we must be worried about.
And Adam, at the end of the day, if you take the way these countries have been governed, these military overthrowers or the juntas, they are supported by the citizens. You go to Niger, Burkina Faso, they're on the street supporting the military. That speaks volumes about the quality of governance that they got from their leaders. It's not about whatever only France does, or let's say the United States or Russia does.
Roland,
should we be worried as a country?
Yes, I think that we should be worried, and I have been worried for a long time. Because, Roland, what is happening within the sub-region and maybe on the entire African continent is something that we should be very, very worried about. Because, but before that, let me establish that I believe in democracy. I believe that democracy may not solve all our challenges, but it is still the best alternative to what we have. Better than military dictatorship and all of that. I believe that, yes, I would prefer the ballot to the bullet. I will on any day prefer a democracy that doesn't even work to a military dictatorship that works, because people's freedoms and liberty is what we must prioritize. And so it's important to state that I believe in democracy. However, what is happening in Niger and all the other West African countries where we have all these issues with the attempted coups and then successful ones is simply because of bad governance. Roland, citizens, especially young people, are beginning to lose trust and confidence in their leadership. Not too long ago, I was in a conversation with a political science lecturer who conducted a research about the confidence of Ghanaians in state institutions. And surprisingly, people had more confidence even in their religious leaders than they do in their political leaders. And
that's worrying.
Very worrying that right from the assembly level, the district assembly level, assembly member, unit committee assembly members, to the presidency, many people, many Ghanaians said they had no confidence in their leaders, and they assumed that their leaders are working for their personal interests and not for them. Now, when you have people believing these things, then it gives you cause to worry, because that is what motivates. And I'm a student of history and political science. I'm also a student of public policy. I know that what is happening in Niger and Burkina Faso and across the West African sub-region should be a cause for all of us to worry, and especially for those in government. Because what you see today, the level of hopelessness, especially among young people, that Roland, not too far away from your studio, you drive, get to even in front of the Flagstaff House, 50 meters away from the Flagstaff House, you see the traffic light. Young people, some are supposed to be in school. And they are hawking. Today is Tuesday. They are hawking sachet water and other petty things to survive. So I ask myself, many of them, young people, 14, 15, 12, 10 years, some of them are waiting for your car to stop at the traffic light so they can clean your windscreen for you to give them something little to survive on. So I ask myself, today they are 12 years, they are 15 years. In 5 years' time, when they are 19, 20, and they cannot stand there to do what they are doing, what would they do to survive? Maybe the next time what they will do is that when they stop you, it will not be with a rag to clean your windscreen, but it will be with a weapon to snatch the car away from you. Because the disparity, you see, what we see, and all these problems is even worse now, because when you read the recent World Bank reports, where they said over 800,000 Ghanaians have fallen into the poverty bracket. So what we have today is that you have about 2.99 million Ghanaians who are living under the poverty line. It tells you that our economic situation is
but why are you raising the Ghana situation? You're saying I'm raising
the Ghana situation because there's an adage, a local adage, that when your neighbor's beard is on fire, right, fetch water and put by yours, if that is right. What I'm saying is that I'm raising the Ghana situation because I am in Ghana. I interact with young people. I always say that I am one of the young people in politics who spends time with young people, whether in the ghettos, whether in the churches, whether in schools, and all, just trying to understand what they think about this country. Where we are today, especially with the kind of governance that we have seen over the last 7 years, the situation is terrible. And this should be a cause for us to worry. So, for example, people are looking for just something for 3 square meals. And I can tell you that today, to be able to afford 3 square meals a day in Ghana is luxury. Roland, as a young person, to afford 3 square meals for many young people, it is luxury.
What's that got to do with Niger?
It is. So I'm telling you that these are the things that led to the Niger situation. And so when President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia, the people in charge of our state, so imagine, let me give you a practical example. Imagine a young person who for the past 1 week or 2 has struggled to put food on the table, then wakes up to the report that millions of Ghana cedis, 131 million, has been spent on maintenance of vehicles at BOG. That same young person wakes up to the report that $58 million has been spent on the National Cathedral project, a project that will not bring food on the table. And they see what is happening in the sub-region, it becomes a motivation for them. I believe that coup is not the way to go. We must always ensure that we protect the democracy we have. But what is happening in the other countries should be a lesson, especially for the insensitive leadership that President Akufo-Addo is providing here. We must learn from our neighbors.
You can't say because of that, it's the same situation that...
Oh, I'm telling you that. No, but you see, Roland, no, just before he comes. No, just he comes. Just give me 30 seconds. Just he comes. Let me tell you. The reasons why some of the citizens are protesting... If you do that 30
seconds, you will not do the last one.
No, so 1 minute then. So I'm telling you that, Roland, the reasons why people are protesting in Burkina Faso and Niger, some of the conditions for which they are protesting, we face worse situations here in Ghana.
No, Niger, Ghana.
I'm telling you that some of the situations or some of the conditions that they are protesting against, we face worse here in Ghana.
So we should be worried.
We should be worried, and we should start preparing against such things by doing things right.
All right. How do we avert the instability in the region? And what do you make of this comparison? Two minutes of it.
You become extremely simplistic. Extremely. When you reduce some of this outburst in Africa to some of the kind of things he's referring to.
You think he's being, let me use the word pedestrian?
I didn't say that.
No,
I'm not saying that.
I didn't even mention Cecilia Dapa. Don't say that.
Hold on. You see,
I'm just telling you.
Don't stoke fire.
He's talking about a lot of economic conditions. which in their time was no better.
Okay. Oh, please.
Coup didn't happen.
Please.
Economic conditions in most of these African countries has been so worse, but coup didn't happen. Coup now happens now. There might be a reason, but there are other critical reasons.
Beyond just
some of this
economic
Basum,
livelihood
Niger,
matters.
President Basum, Niger. They consider him as from the minority tribe in Niger. That his tribe in Niger, are the most minority of all of them. And the majority tribe are in the military. And they feel that it is not right for somebody from such tribe to rule them. Okay. It is a reason.
So my question,
the uranium is a reason. Oh, hold on.
So he's concerned about the economic conditions.
Yes. No, hold on.
And even a stable Ghana.
It is like telling me. It is like telling me that a lady.
So we shouldn't be worried.
No, hold on. It's like telling me that a lady in Legon
with millions of dollars
has no money to buy land.
Are keeping.
So he's going to sleep with a boy to get money to buy land.
That's not what we said.
No, that's what he's trying to do. So because of economic reasons,
that is a personal decision. We are saying.
Oh no, listen, Adam, you are making this thing too.
So you are saying he's simplifying the matter.
Cecilia Dapa, let's talk about it.
He made another point about the confidence of Ghanaian in state institutions. It is important to me.
There's the Afro barometer.
I get worried too. But you know, some of the reasons and some of the problem is John Mahama.
Oh, please.
Yes.
The Afro barometer was conducted during the Kufado.
No, but the reason is John Mahama. Yes, you know why. You know why. When you disrespect the court,
right?
When you disrespect the Electoral Commission, when you disrespect all these state institutions,
which court?
The Afro barometer is due to John Mahama.
How do you expect the Ghanaian, the ordinary Ghanaian,
a research conducted under your
Mahama is causing that.
Roland, a research. But I have to beg the request.
I want to do
something. No, you keep it. Let me read.
Roland, two birthday requests.
I want to comment.
So Triddles.
No, but I have
today you have been commending many people. So Triddles says the MPP led by the president don't have what it takes to inspire confidence in Ghanaians. And it will take the government of John Dramani Mahama from the wilderness to take Ghanaians out of the wilderness to the promised land. As for ECOWAS, the least said about them, the better. And then, okay, so we have this one from... We have this one also. It says it is pathetic that the government spokesperson on the panel claims that the Saglemi housing project is a mess left behind by the former government. And therefore, the Kufado-led government is justified in abandoning it because of a court case. This mentality leads to massive wastage of our financial resources, leaving us poorer. And then I have this one from Raphael Osebunsu. Raphael, good morning to you. He says that we should all know that Ghana needs to be treated fairly. Raphael, good morning to you, and thank you for the message. You say, please read my messages today. So, okay. Okay, so that's Alhaji Hamza Pig Farm. The difference between JM and the current president is that JM did not demolish 21 houses for our judges. Scholarship Secretariat was also not demolished. Yes. Passport Office was not demolished. And now you tell us that among these two, who is visionless? We also have this one from Randolph Zichu. Now, Mystic Wonder, thank you also for the message. And, well, let me cash out. Let me cash out. Why? Now, so we have to cash out. Make sure that you memorize this short code. We're talking about star 439 hash. Star 439 hash. And you get a prompt, so you choose any of them. And so let's do the draw, star 439 hash. They're giving me messages. It's a birthday and things like that. Okay, so, so 439, are we ready? 2, 3, 1, draw. First one. We have 0242272 holder. That's the number. Who is the lucky winner? First of 2 for the morning. We'll try and call them if it's possible. And then also, let's do the second draw. 3, okay. Can we go? 3, 2-1 draw. So we have the bearer of this number 0245689 winning. Okay, if we have any of them on the line, you wanted to say.
I want to comment.
So we'll call the. I
want to comment the
Get Fan Boss.
Get Fan Boss.
Is it the same person who was caught
Dr. Regina
on tapes? Is it the same boy or is not?
I'm commending the Get Fan Boss. You see, Roland, what is important for me
Forward.
is the support for education. And so far, this man has been so splendid. This year alone, just test it.
Please, do we have the caller?
4,279 students, which is about the.
You see the one who allowed the Get Fan to be securitized.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
Good things that
Happy birthday to Augustine Desire, Joje from Ketu North. It's coming for Eden Magbana. Idi Mohayuddin, it's your birthday. It's coming from Nana Safweje. And then Milex Aaron from Ketu North, but you're staying in the US. Amoda Hamidu as well. Mani, good morning to all of you. And the Get Fan Boss, I'm told. Is it the same person that was called? Do you have the caller?
7 years. Get Fan has done nothing.
Not yet. Do we have the second one?
Apart from the small scholarships.
Okay, not yet. Okay, so we have. Thank you, gentlemen. And we're taking a break. When we come back, we'll have more right here on the show.
Project, yes, and I can give them.
Jackpot of the week. Place bets and hit the jackpot. Log into the OneXBet account. Click on the Take Part button. Place bet and take part in the jackpot draw. Give your luck a chance. Use promo code to get a bonus on your first deposit.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. Not for persons below 18 years. Gambling can be addictive.
You know the now. You are living the now. You feel secure in the now. But what about tomorrow? What happens when you can no longer do the things you love? What happens to your loved ones when you are no longer here?
Get Mekakrawa from Prudential Life now and protect your future and that of your loved ones. With as little as 3 Ghana cedis, Mekakrawa covers you in case of death, total and permanent disability, or critical illness.
The plan of that 45 city intimate Jordan. Don't me say ever board that. 5 years here. Nadal star 778 ash. Oh, I'm telling you this year. Come with this year. Come with this year.
What does winning mean to you? For Yao, it's seeing the joy in his mother's eyes after he provided her with a state-of-the-art kitchen to cook her signature Unapo Jollof.
It's a mega win.
For Ajua, it's turning her passion for photography into a successful career while providing her children with the best education possible.
It's a mega win.
For Kwame, it's becoming his own boss and starting his music business.
It's a mega win.
Whatever winning means to you, Mega 6 Lotto can help you achieve it in grand style. With only 49 numbers to choose from, the odds are always in your favor. Play with as little as 2 Ghana cedis for a chance to win millions of cedis every week. Download our Android and iOS apps. Dial *266# or visit mega6lotto.com to make a mega impact on your life and the lives of others. Mega 6 Lotto. Mega winnings, mega impact. The Mega 6 Lotto is regulated and monitored by the NLA.
Hey, Ojam, you're looking good, oh my friend. Is there something you're not telling me?
Yes, I'm feeling very good and strong.
What is the secret?
It is not a secret. My farmer used Yara Mela Activa on me 2 weeks after planting. This boosted my growth. Then after, he used Yara Bella Sulfan as top dressing when I was at knee length. My goodness and strength is because of Yara Mela Activa and Yara Bella Sulfan. Yara fertilizers have nitrite-based fertilizers that are readily available for plant upkeep and do not over-acidify the soil. Yara fertilizers also contain micronutrients such as zinc, boron and manganese, which aid in yield and crop quality. If you want to look good like me, then your farmer must go for Yara fertilizers. They are available in accredited agri-input shops nationwide. For more information, call 0308 251 060 or visit our webpage at yara.com.gh or Facebook page. And there is more. Yara retailers can also benefit from selling Yara products by just downloading Yara Connect app and scanning QR codes on the Yara sack at the point of sale to earn rewards. Use Yara fertilizers for better yield and quality produce.
All sporting disciplines matter on Warm Up Plus.
Warm Up Plus, the most exciting hour on TV. So join the conversation and get updated.
Get sports news, visit exciting places, and be in the know on Warm Up Plus. Let's go, Diana.
We're just getting started.
We're just getting warmed up.
Catch me, Yao, the Fusulabi.
And me, Aniela Alote.
Warm Up Plus, new season coming soon on TV3.
Are you ready to win solid cash every day with Cash Out? Be a proud winner of lots of cash simply by watching or listening to any of Media General stations. That's right, you are being rewarded for your loyalty. Tune in to all Media General brands. TV3, 3FM 92.7, Onia TV, Onia FM 95.1, all in Accra, Akuma FM 87.9 in Kumasi, and Connect FM 97.1 in Takoradi. To enter the Cash Out raffle on your favorite Media General station, just dial *439#. Follow the prompt and pick your favorite platform to enter. Voila! You are now eligible to become one of the 10 lucky winners of a cool cash prize. Remember, this is every day, all day on your favorite Media General station. Cash out and win big! This is in partnership with Radio Entertainment Limited. This promo is regulated by the National Lottery Authority on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
It is said that all drugs are poisons, but the right dose is what differentiates a poison from a remedy. Did you know that globally more than 11.8 million deaths are recorded each year as a result of drug misuse?
Did you also know that most adverse drug events could have been prevented if only you had spoken to your pharmacist?
And are you aware that untreated sexually transmitted infection could lead to infertility in the long term?
Ask Your Pharmacist is the only health show that brings pharmacists to the discussion to educate you on what that drug does to your body and help you better understand the medical condition and that pill before you swallow it.
So join us as we bring you exciting, compelling, and didactic health content every week right here on the station. My name is Peggy.
My name is Asabia.
And I am Kunedu. And we are your hosts.
Ask Your Pharmacist. Stay informed. Stay healthy. Ask Your Pharmacist Season 3 is proudly brought to you by Dragnet, the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, Let Up Pharmaceuticals, Chango, U-School, and the Tema Christian Eye Center.
Ask Your Pharmacist shows Sunday at 1 p.m. on TV3.